market for hot hatchbacks has become a proper battlefield. From Germany to the UK all the way over to America, people with a passion for driving absolutely love these high-performance compact cars, and many manufacturers try to get a piece of the cake. Now, based on the same VW Group platform as the Golf GTI, the Spanish Seat Leon Cupra is not sold worldwide. Which is a shame really, because this Cupra 280 has a lot under its belt.
So the Seat Leon Cupra is a very competitive package in this European hot hatch market. Because what you are getting is basically Golf R performance for Golf GTI money. And I believe this is actually the same spec of chassis that you get in the Golf GTI, so it's front wheel drive, but the engine makes way more horsepower than the one in the GTI. This is the same spec that you get in the S3 and in the Golf R that makes 300 horsepower. In this car it is only 280 horsepower, a little bit of marketing I guess. Seat also says that, well, with front wheel drive 280 horsepower is the limit of traction. I'm not so sure about this one, but on the other hand they should really know their stuff, because the Leon Cupra 280 was actually the first car that lapped the Nürburgring Nordschleife in under 8 minutes last year. So the first front-wheel driven car that was able to achieve a time of under 8 minutes. And interestingly for me, they used a car that was equipped with a manual transmission and not with a DSG, which you can also get for the Cupra. So I had to get a car in the same spec that they used for this Nürburgring Nordschleife lap bracket, which is a Cupra 280. There's also a version with slightly less horsepower, which I don't understand why they offer that. But yeah, 280 horsepower in this car, and it's equipped with a manual transmission and the optional performance pack. And what that gives you is Brembo brakes and sport tires. I think you can even get cup tires for this car. And the package costs around 2,500 to 3,000 euros, depending on which tires you choose, I believe. So now it's time to go on a twisty German B-road, because I asked you guys what defines a hot hatch for you. There are so many different concepts on the market now and so many different competitors. Front-wheel driven cars, all-wheel driven cars, rear-wheel drive, all for very different prices also. So I really wanted to know what you guys care about and what defines a hot hatch for you. And I will read your comments actually later on in the video. So my first impressions of this car are very positive, I have to say. It's of course a very easy to drive car, because it's based on the VW Golf platform and it actually drives very similar to these cars. You have great low-end torque, that's something that I care about a lot. So this car really pulls nicely from 1800 RPMs up to the red line. Feels really, really strong, and I told you that I love this engine already when I reviewed the Audi A3. And also the sound, especially at low RPMs, from 2 to 3000 RPM is really, really nice. And you always have this nice turbo sound when you lift off the throttle. The pedals actually are the same ones that I had in the Audi S3. Many similar parts to the Audi S3 in this car. Many things that remind you of the fact that this car is from the VW Group. So the steering wheel has the same buttons and the same kind of menus here in the dash that you get in Audi cars. This sat-nav here is, I believe, from the Golf 6. Pedals, as I mentioned, are the same ones that I had in the Audi S3. So something that people always are worried about with Seat cars is the fact that, yeah, you're getting a VW car platform, but a much cheaper interior. And for me, that's not really true. I mean, yes, the materials here in the center console are a little bit more simple, but all the touch points, all the things that you are using constantly as a driver, the gear knob, this steering wheel which has really, really nice stitching, and these seats here especially, everything feels actually really nice. And if that's where they are saving the 5,000 euro compared to the Golf R, I can absolutely live with that. This interior is really, really nice. I have to say, I'm really, really impressed by the chassis of this car. Wow. The corner speeds that you can achieve with this car are barely street legal. Almost feels like you're braking traction before you're getting understeer with this kind of power to the front wheels. Wow. They've really done the job on this one, guys. I'm impressed. This car is super confidence inspiring to drive. And really, really fast. Time to cool down a little bit actually. Wow. Great, great car to drive fast, I have to say. So now let's park here and look at the comments that you guys shared with me. Let me get my phone out here real quick. So I asked you in a video what defines a hot hatch for you, and I also posted that video on Facebook. So let me see what you guys wrote me. Hold on a second. Now let's go to YouTube first. Here's a comment from Nicola, who writes me, for me hot hatch is front wheel drive, strong. It's agile, lightweight, not understeer and not to be too big and luxurious. And then he mentions a few hot hatches. So front wheel drive, first one. Now here's one from my dear friend Susanne. Hi Susanne, how are you doing? And Susanne is probably one of those people that watch my videos that know way more about cars than I do. So let's see what she says. The most important feature of a hot hatch needs to be the ability to put a smile on your face. Yeah, for sure. The car also needs to be practical daily driver, reasonably fast and easy to drive. It doesn't need supercar performance. That's a surprise that you say that. What else? It needs to feel fast at legal speeds. Now I think the Seat really achieves that. Even though I just didn't really drove legal speeds, if I'm honest with you guys. So yeah, the fun factor is really high. What else do we have here? Low price, stick shift, front wheel drive, light, more power, says Justin. More power than the base version. Meant to be driven for enjoyment and practicality, not necessarily for speed. That's interesting, you see. Low price, yeah. Here's somebody that writes me, I have both a Porsche and a Seat Leon Cupra. I love both of them, and the Seat does everything so well. Currently, if you go through the right channels, you can get around 4,000 of list price. Okay, interesting. Here's a long comment from my friend Pascal. He says, as a hot hatch driver, I think the common thing a hot hatch should be is fun. yeah, you see there's a red line going through your comments. You all care about the fun level of this car, or of this kind of car. What else do we have? Here's one from my friend Nigel from the UK. Nigel actually knows his stuff really well. He is a former racing driver, and I believe he also was an instructor on the Silverstone racetrack, he told me once. So he says, for me it needs to be extremely stable, fast and nimble, plus comfortable too. Very racing driver-like comment, Nigel. Straight to the point. It needs to be good to drive and comfortable too. Yeah, fair enough. Zahil writes me, I'd say a hot hatch is like a Swiss Army knife of cars, fast, nimble and fun to drive, but also practical for passengers or IKEA trips. I couldn't put it any better. What else do we have? Should I read this one? Yeah, I will. You posted it. Here's somebody that writes me, that's easy, Guido in a hot hatch. Guido in a hatch is a hot hatch, so you have no idea, buddy. But this car has air conditioning and the optional sunroof, so nobody who doesn't want to will get hot in this car. And now let's come up with a proper verdict, but I will drive off this parking place here and tell you what I think about this car in the end. So yeah, if you're in the market for a hot hatch, I would really give this car a try. It's just a lovely car to drive. And for the price that they are offering it, I really don't see any point where I can criticize the Leon Cupra. Okay, the styling is something that seems to be discussable if I'm looking at the comments that I got on the video that I made prior to the review. But I personally really like it. I think it's great to see something that is not a VW Golf, but maybe you have to live in Germany to understand that, where the Golf is by far the most selling car. And to me actually a bit boring and conservative to look at. So I've always liked the fact that there are other VW Group companies like Seat or Skoda that offer something different. And yeah, for the price, you really can't say anything bad about the Seat Leon Cupra. So that's my verdict. Thank you very much for sharing your comments on hot hatches with me, guys, and I hope to see you in one of my next reviews. Take care.